Hi there. You're tuned in to Pedro Pascal, a bi-weekly celebration of the actor Pedro Pascal, where we explore his filmography and how some of his greatest performances came to be.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Katrina.
And this week, we're welcoming our new guest to talk about the 2018 film, The Equalizer 2, starring Denzel Washington and Pedro Pascal in the follow-up to the hit film, The Equalizer. Welcome to the pod, Ashley Newby.
Hey.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Getting by. Good night. I watched The Equalizer recently. How about you?
I haven't watched the first one.
Oh, I watched
my
them
gosh.
both because
You're
I
not
was
the
on
only
a
one.
journey. Oh, I watched. Am I the only one who watched the first one as well?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
listen,
I
the first
only
one
watched
has
this
hot
one.
David Harbour, so like,
I'll give you that.
and he has a
Okay.
Boston accent because I didn't realize they were in Boston until like 2/3 of the way through that first bit.
I mean,
But Ashley, why don't you tell our lovely listeners a little bit about yourself?
my name is Ashley. I live in LA. I'm a manager at a movie theater right now. I work in Santa Monica, and I've seen all of Pedro's filmography, every single bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
She has. Ashley is my go-to when I'm in the middle of something. I'm just like, Ashley, I'm watching this thing. And she's like, it's taking you 8 years. I'm like, yes, everything does.
Narcos is the one that I just can't. I consumed that in probably 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking my time. I don't
You
want
sound
it
like
to
my
end.
mother.
You
I don't
know,
want it
it's
to
that
end.
you're treating it. She's treating it like a fine wine. You know,
Yeah.
You're just
And I
like,
don't normally
take your
treat wine
time.
that way. I drink wine quickly. I'm treating this show like I should treat my wine glasses.
All right, I'll give you that.
But so Katrina, how are you? This is our little check-in section I've decided.
Yeah, we're just checking in on each other. No, I'm doing pretty good. It's a really busy month. By the time this episode is out, my company will have released its second game of the year, called Massmaker VR. So if you have a VR headset, there is a good chance you can play Massmaker today as you're listening to this. So there's that, and just like a whole bunch of other wild and wacky things going on in this life. So yeah. I'm really excited to be here talking about this wild little action movie.
Yeah,
That's a nice way to put it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I meant when Ashley was talking about herself, I meant to say she is while I love this movie very much, Ashley got me beat time and time over. She's the I don't know what word I'm looking for, but she is the expert on all things Knives Out. And I didn't realize I did this. I'm drinking out of my, again, I don't know my left from my right.
I love it.
Drinking out my little Knives Out mug, and I guess I did it subconsciously for Ashley.
I love
I appreciate that.
It's also as big as my face. But yeah.
As it should be.
Yeah, as a good mug should be.
But yeah, so wonderful, lovely listeners of Pedro Pascal. Let's get into news and what's happening. So, the most recent news that I wrote about and loved it with all my good old heart, Gabriel Luna was cast as Tommy. My brain was like, brother. Was cast as Tommy in The Last of Us for HBO, and it was really cute because him and Pedro just kept being like Texas on Twitter. To which I realized that much like myself, because I am from 3 different places, Pedro Pascal's like, how does this apply to me? I'm going to just say I'm from that place in that moment to make it apply to me. And I appreciate that. I love that. I love when people are that way. I don't feel as crazy.
I have also lived in like several different places, and I was just like, what do you mean you're from Texas? Whatever. I kind of get that, because whenever like, you know, I grew up in Miami, so that whenever Miami is being talked about in a positive light, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm from
claim
Miami.
that.
And then when it's like not being talked about in a positive light, I'm like, oh no, I'm from New York. Yeah, from Brooklyn.
Well, yeah,
Make it work for you.
I'm from Pittsburgh, which is actually like I'm from about 40 minutes outside of Pittsburgh. but I hate my hometown. So I'm like, I'm from Pittsburgh. And the only time I claim it is if like Michael Keaton or Jeff Goldblum are being spoken about. Then I'm like, yeah, I'm from Pittsburgh. But like, and then I'm from California. And then I'm like, well, then I went to school in North Carolina, but I don't really claim that. And now I live in New York. So I get it. I'm like, yeah, Texas.
Sure.
Those rules. I love it. Texas boys. Well, and those characters are from Texas, so I doubly loved it. I was like, yay!
Yeah.
I've never even been there, but yay, Texas! Clear eyes, horse can't lose. I love her.
Oh my god. You're not wrong.
Yeah. on the Last of Us side, as someone who's surprised that we're getting a reboot, because I thought that was the last of it. There's like a reboot of the game coming up, so it makes me wonder if like, are they going to continue with like the old body models they used, or like are they going to bring in like the cast from the movie, or what's the deal? What is the deal there? So
I have no idea about that.
Yeah, so they're doing the reboot of it, but like also from what I said what I've read. I've literally written about this, and I'm my brain's like, no, you didn't, but I did.
I look to you for sources of all my news. I actually don't listen to the news. I only read your Twitter feed.
What? Thank you. So what Neil Druckmann said was that the game and the show are like, they come from the same source material, but the show is going to have different storylines and different things in it. So I don't know if they would, just because they are still keeping them kind of separate. But I don't know. Because he said that it's like, don't worry if you've played the game, like the show's going to have things that you don't know. And
right.
So, who's to say?
I'm excited either way.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. The Last of Us is the one I'm the most excited. Well, okay, I'm so sorry. That is a lie. That's a blatant lie. I love Succession, so that is not the most. That's not the HBO show that I'm like. And Barry, I like HBO shows, but that is the new HBO show that I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
I had to clarify because I like Succession way too much.
I'm very excited about it. I've already talked about my history on this show with The Last of Us, so I'm thrilled to see the adaptation like getting so much care when it comes to the cast. I think there's a lot of thought being put into
for sure
who's being chosen for this. Yeah.
Yep. Love it very much. Can't wait. Also, I did a really good job on this segment. I should have looked up what the award show was. Ashley, do you know what award show he just did with the leather jacket?
No, I can look it up. Hang on.
Because I just wrote Pedro presented an award show in a leather jacket surrounded by books.
It was the BAFTAs, right?
No, he presented at the BAFTAs.
The BAFTAs.
This is my button-up motion.
Artios Awards.
Yes, thank you. So he presented this. Oh, and he did the BAFTAs. Yeah, the BAFTAs. He was in Louboutins, and all of his fans are calling them Louis Vuittons. And
my favorite thing about his BAFTAs look was like his hairstyle was just kind of like, well, this works. This works. It's good. I woke up like this, and it works.
It was a real like I did all of this other stuff to get ready. This was not happening, and
this counts as a hairstyle. And you know what? I can relate to that. Sometimes I roll out of bed and I'm like, yeah, I can go into a meeting like this. I can go into Zoom like this.
My hair is never done. I'm like, I appreciate when you're like, nope. The only reason I have this bun is because my friend said one time she saw Marissa Tomei do it, and I was like, all right. This is my fancy look. Why not? Tomei did it one time. But yeah, I respected it. But then he also presented at the Artos Awards with some books.
Yeah,
beautiful.
We love Pedro Pascal surrounded by books, and if I am not mistaken, this is the same Dolce and Gabbana jacket that he wore when he was doing press for.
It's a different color. It's a different color.
Is it a different? It's not the same one.
This one's brown and the other one was black.
Dang it! I wanted to use.
You can still share the picture anyway.
Oh,
I'll do it.
Okay, whatever.
Oh no, we both did it at the same time. Anyways, this picture is important for science.
I see the science.
Yeah. So science. He posted this on Instagram story. This is not like we just searched the internet for it. He gave it to us. Welcome. And
I don't know. This man who doesn't have pants on. Please.
Listen, that's the only good thing about quarantine is all these men have been like, LOL, I'm gonna post pictures of myself in my underwear. And you're like,
all right,
thank you.
I'm here.
Why are you doing this? But thank you. Like, I appreciate you. Like, I appreciate you doing this. Like, right now I'm in Old Navy pajama pants because I was like, I only need to look like a person from Europe. But yeah, so, we are on a journey in the news.
Yeah,
definitely
and
some
there
news.
isn't even that much news this week. Like, it just seems it was a quiet week, as it has been for a while. But
I think he got the top actor. He was voted on Rotten Tomatoes, I want to say.
That was probably Mimi.
And then something with IMDb, I believe. I think something like the same.
Oh, I'm so stupid because now we're recording this today. He also just got nominated for a bunch of MTV.
Yeah,
awards.
MTV. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because that whole category, I'm not. I can't watch.
Words.
I can't watch. There's like the two categories that he is in are like just me and my interests. Because it's like best hero, him, Anthony Mackie, Gal Gadot, like everyone I give a shit about. And then the other one is like best duo, and it's like Din and Grogu, Barb and Storm. Like,
how is that even fair? I was like, I will say though, I'm very happy that the MTV Awards are extremely recognizable for me this year. Like, at least it's all media that like I'm aware of. I feel really caught up. I feel like I'm caught up to speed with this pandemic with like the youngers. So really excited. Yeah. Like the real, like I'm old and I'm like disconnected from the Pascal fandom, Pascal twit or whatever, and twit.
Rachel's like, bye.
I'm out of frame.
So I feel really connected now to like the world around me because I know what every like media interest is. Yeah, at the MTV Awards, I'm like, all right, I'm back. It's been a while, but I'm back, MTV. I'm ready.
Except Emily in Paris got nominated for things. I'm like, wait, hold on.
I'm so mad.
Why?
I'm so mad. Like,
was this because she has a big social media following, which is the whole premise?
She doesn't. Oh my god,
she doesn't.
It's awful. She doesn't.
Oh no, I started to
the way she grows it is like ridiculous. Also, every single social media campaign that she uses in that show has already been used in real life, including that mattress campaign where she was like, "Oh, we're gonna get celebrities to take photos on our mattresses." Like that was used 4 years before this show was written. So
how about
anyway?
Her, like,
anyway,
and she's making gross jokes, and they're like, "Oh yes, the prime minister's wife loved this very offensive thing you wrote," and I'm like, oh, I have questions.
No.
Yeah,
is France okay in this show? Because
they're not though. They're mad about
is
it.
France okay? Are they all right?
Well, the prime minister's wife wasn't mad about it. She was like, I agree. And you're like, oh, okay. I got questions.
Hello to our French listeners. Hi,
listen, you all probably hate Emily and Perry. Listen, then that's not how you spell her name.
They don't.
That made me so mad.
Emily
I took French for
Paris.
8 years. And they were like, oh, it's like Perry. It's supposed to rhyme. I was like, then spell Amelie, right? Because that's not how you spell it. That's Emily. It's a different name. Oh, I hate that shit. As someone who runs social media, and like I know Katrina does as well, like it just is an infuriating show because you're like, that's not how that works.
That's not how it works. Yeah, exactly. Like, every time, like, it's not how it works at all. This is not what this job is like.
So, listeners, go vote for literally anything else.
Anything else? Please don't vote for Emily in Paris.
You're my mortal.
You look so mad.
Oh, I hate that joke. It's like there are so when I hate something, it takes a lot for me to like hate something. But when I do,
I'm gonna tell you about it.
Yeah, you'll hear how much like Joss Whedon's Justice League.
Oh god.
Don't get me started. Anyways.
Oh my gosh.
We are here today.
And that was the news.
And that was the news. We're here today to talk about a movie that is a sequel, and I'm the only one who's seen the first one, to the Denzel Washington classic, The Equalizer, which is now a show starring Queen Latifah. Pedro, your role be in season 2, but
okay.
He can be in season 2. I mean, he's busy, but he can do it. But yeah, so The Equalizer 2. Ashley, you picked this movie, which, granted, she had originally picked Prospect, and I blanked. So,
Aww.
he asked me when I started this, can I do Prospect? And I said, yeah. And then I just never.
And then you text me, and you're just like, oh, here's our new episode. I'm just like,
I asked, and I was like, I'm so sorry. You pick whatever you want to talk about. But so you picked Equalizer 2.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
His acting. I think the movie's fine, and people think it's fine, but I think it's so different than what he's done before. I think you don't see his normal personality in this role at all. Mm-hmm. And I could feel like just his dead eyes just get me. Like he does that so well, and he's not like that as a person. Mm-hmm. Like, and anything about him, he's like, he likes to smile and he's goofy and he's funny, but he is just so serious, and he's just, I don't know, it's just the acting. The movie's fine, I guess, but
he's just like, this is the thing with nice people, is that they just play really good villains. Like, they do. That's just how it goes.
Listen, but I would say, like, his Magna Lord, while villainous, I was kind of like, all right, whatever you're going to do, I'll watch it. Where this one, I was like, this man is going to murder a bunch of people.
And no one will know. No one will know.
It's like,
I feel like,
I was like, oh, this guy is, okay, sir, I'll be your wife, but you're going to murder some people.
That's his business.
I'm going to have to deal with that.
This is like a slightly separate conversation, but I feel like this, like, era where, like, we all agree with the villains has started in the 2020s.
Yes.
Like, every villain is just like, I want people to be liberated, and I want them to have housing, and
yeah,
like,
Carly on Falcon Winter Soldier is
exactly. It's like, I want people to be okay.
Yeah, like, so most of the time I can sympathize with a villain, mm-hmm. like, these days. You don't make villains like they used to, in the 2018s.
I also think because especially in Marvel, the villains are actually the white dudes in that story, and then, like, of course, the white guys on Twitter are like, Hayward and John Walker haven't done anything wrong. I'm like, this is my villain origin story. I'm gonna become Dave York and just go to town because you guys.
I'm not gonna stop you.
Like, you guys are sitting there like, John Walker killed a man, but that's okay. No. Sorry for talking to the Winter Soldier.
Like, it's ridiculous. But I mean, I love it when Pedro plays a villain. Like, he knows how to do it well. We love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and The Equalizer too. Okay, I liked the second one better than I liked the first one.
Oh, good.
The first one, David Harbour making some choices.
Is he the villain?
Kind of. The villain is Russia, as far as I can tell.
As a whole,
no, he's like a Russian. Not like a mob. He's just like a Russian man who. So Chloe Grace Moretz. Is like a young girl who is like roped into this lifestyle of like going with these men, but Denzel Washington sees her at this diner he works from, and so one time she doesn't come in, or she comes in and doesn't want to go. I can't remember what it was, but she ends up getting like really beat up, and so he's like, I gotta save her, and so then he goes and he offers all the Russians. He's like, you guys, here is $9,800 for her. And the guy's like, you Americans think you can just give me money and then I'm not gonna, and then you own whatever you want. And he's like, I'm telling you, take this money for the girl. And then he just murders everyone because they keep making fun of him for asking. And he's like, I'm killing all these dudes for Chloe Grace Moretz. And so then the Russian guy comes and he's like real mad about it. And he's like, who is this guy who killed all my people? And so then and they think it's like multiple people and it's just Denzel. And so then like throughout the whole movie, it's like them, and he just keeps murdering all these people. But then how it really gets is he goes David Harbour and all that stuff, and then they find out that, like, because he works at like a Lowe's essentially, and the Russian guy like captures the Lowe's and like is like all of his coworkers are like stuck in the lows, and so Denzel comes and just like fucks up their shit, and it's like
okay, I have to watch it now.
Oh my god, yeah.
Denzel fucks up their
You
shit in a
sold me.
Lowe's and uses like a nail gun to take the guy. It's great. I love the Equalizer movies now. But yeah, so that's the first one, and it's definitely different in like tone. Like the ending, it's like the ending almost feels like a Punisher vibe because he's like standing in the rain and it's like real dark.
Dramatics.
Yeah, and then this one is like, I'm helping this kid paint a wall, and so like, I'm like,
that's true.
Just switched vibes.
So it's like a little less wholesome. The first one, okay.
Yeah, but it establishes that he's friends with that lady, and Bill Pullman is also in it for like 10 minutes.
Yes.
They got Bill Pullman to really show up for 10 minutes in both of these movies, and then he was like, I'm out. But yeah.
Does it explain why he like died or how he died or just had to disappear?
No, that's what I mean. Also, like that's not unless
he just leaves.
Unless I completely missed it, which is very possible. Like, I don't think they ever explain that part that he's like dead to his friends. I'm like pretty sure it's just like, oh no, I'm just not in the business, and she's like, you should go back, and he's like, no, like that's what I like understood of it.
But there was an explosion or something. He saw him die or something.
I don't remember any of that. So if that is in there, I also watched it like
it was late for you.
Yeah, it was like I was watching them both late. So it's like if I miss something, that's possible. But I don't.
My assumption, though, especially with the way we're like jumping to the scene where they're on the bench and stuff, like the way he speaks about it, it sounds like what is that? Exposition. It sounds like exposition. So I didn't expect like that history to be in the first movie. Like maybe the first movie
mention of him being dead to people.
Yeah,
like the fact that they just brought that up into this movie and that
dead to everyone.
Why?
And that this lady is the only one who knew he was alive, and that he just didn't tell his partner of multiple years.
Yeah,
like we should. Okay, hold on.
There are a lot of lines in this movie that are like really hard. Like very big, obvious, light up exposition lines where like she says like, well, I'm the only friend you've got. And I'm like,
yeah. So like, do either of you want to explain this movie or do you want me to do my quick rundown of the plot of The Equalizer?
You've got it.
Yeah, please do.
This is my new thing on this podcast. It's like, here's my weird ass quick plot synopsis. So, okay. So The Equalizer 2 is like, he's back in his home in Boston.
In Boston.
I thought, so at first I thought that there was like a hate crime happening in his neighborhood. And I was like, oh no, what happened? Because someone destroyed this garden. No, someone just destroyed the garden and wrote on the wall. Like it was never established. Yeah. Nothing else happened from it. And I was like, okay, that's strange. So they someone spray painted their wall, and Denzel, being the nice neighbor he is, decided he's going to fix the outdoor of his building. And so then his neighbor comes by and is like, hey, it's a young kid. And he's like, you don't have to do that. You can call the building. He's like, no one's going to do it. I will. So then Denzel, being like this kid's father figure, essentially is like, I'll pay you. You want to be a painter? I'll pay you to fix this. So then the whole movie, the subplot of this movie is this 16, 18-year-old kid painting the wall outside their building, and Denzel's paying him and trying to keep him from going into drugs and stuff.
What I did read, though, and I'll just stop you really quick. What I did read with that part of the movie, and maybe I read it wrong, was that that kid was supposed to be part of the group that vandalized the garden, and then he was coming back. Yeah, because maybe I didn't.
That's what
maybe I was overreading it, but it was more. It was because it was Denzel was he was. That's why he negotiated down and did all of that. Because it was I'm going to give you another chance. Yeah, it's never said between them at all. It's just he just knows, and he's like, okay, well, I'm going to give you a chance to fix this without anybody saying anything about it.
So the kid does for money though. So he destroyed it and then gets paid to fix it.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole subplot is like basically Denzel being this kid's father figure, and trying to keep him out of drugs and stuff. And so then the big plot is that like the lady friend, I'm so sorry to her name. I don't remember it. I feel like it starts with an S.
Susan.
Susan?
Oh, Susan, yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't far. I almost called her Sue, so not far. Susan, it was like his friend. She comes to town and they have dinner, and then like her husband, Bill Pullman, did not learn his name and won't. It's Bill Pullman. Bill Pullman has a new book coming out, and so like they're like, oh, we're gonna go read this book, and so then there is another subplot of this man who survived the Holocaust and he has been separated from his sister for a really long time. And he assumed his sister died. And so they're trying to, he's like, no, like this painting is really important because it's like, this was my sister. Like my uncle, or I forget who he said commissioned it, but he was like, he commissioned this painting. It was my sister. And so then Denzel is trying to help him because Denzel's also an Uber driver in this movie. Instead of working at the Lowe's, he's an Uber driver. So he is trying to help this guy find his sister. And so Susan is like, I'll help you, but like they killed somebody in Bucharest. Where were they? Where'd they go?
Brussels.
Brussels.
Yeah.
And they killed all these people in a foreign country. Like we had to go check it out. When I get back, I'll help you. Or she like starts putting everything in motion. It's like, but you won't hear from me until I get back. And so then they go to Brussels. At this point, Pedro Pascal had already showed up via Zoom. They knew something we didn't.
He looks so good.
Yeah, but they knew something we didn't. It's like they were like, they predicted 2020 that we're gonna have to see everybody on the camera. So then they go to Brussels. Susan's in an elevator, goes upstairs, ends up getting killed after they check out the murder scene. And Dave York was going to get some chocolate, so he wasn't there. And so then it cuts to them the normal time. Denzel finds out Susan's dead. Everyone's sad about it. Okay, Susan, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Susan. So Susan's dead. Denzel's upset about it. And so then Denzel decides that his silence that he has like given to his entire team from whenever he was I guess in the army. I don't know where they
like
were.
Special ops or something.
Yeah, it was like FBI kind of stuff.
He was presumed dead to all of them
in an explosion.
That people saw. Clearly fine though. So he's like, I gotta get answers. So he goes to see good old Dave York. Which I'm sorry, if I thought my friend was dead and they let me believe they're dead, this is not the reunion we would have.
No, yeah, I was very surprised at and again, I feel like a lot of the scene is sacrificed for the exposition of telling like the whole story of their partnership, and I do mean the whole story. So yeah, it's
all in this scene.
It's all in this scene. Like it's like, oh my god, you've been my partner. It's been like 10 years. You died in the explosion, and I was like, this is a lot of information for me to be taking in.
Hello.
Whoops. Sorry, I hit my space bar. Sorry, listeners. I hit my space bar and
listeners, his underwear just pop right back up.
It's just popping out.
So yeah, they have this conversation. He's like, I thought you were dead, man. And they're like throwing out. It's real cute, I guess. Again, if my friend did that to me, I'd be like, no, we got some shit to talk about. And then Denzel goes back along his life for a hot minute. He's like going and helping this kid. And like at one point, the kid, he like finds this kid like about to start dealing drugs, and he like just fucks up. Like he like
aggressive.
He like goes into the room and is basically like, I'm going to fuck up all of these people and get this kid out of here. They don't just let him leave, and they're like, take him, bye. And
yeah,
and then walk out, and they're like, who's that guy? I'm like skipping over a bunch, but like 90% of it doesn't matter. Like you can watch this movie. It's a good action thriller, but like
it's an action movie.
Pedro Pascal. It's an action movie, so like 90% of it, you're like, I don't know what's going on. They're fighting. There's a cool ass gun shootout. So then, like, as the movie goes on, Denzel Washington, whose name is Mac, I can call him by his name, Mac starts to realize, like, the connections back to his old partner, Dave York, a.k.a. Pedro Pascal. And then, like, so he goes, oh, he almost gets killed. Oh, I forgot about that. So Mac almost gets killed in a Uber. So he's back to Uber driving. He's driving, and this guy is like, I'm on the way to the airport. Again, there goes that accent. So then he's like,
I'm going to the airport.
Going to the airport. But he's not. Like, Denzel Washington's like, oh, you must not go to Logan that often because I've missed the exit like 4 times. And the guy's like, boom, and does action stuff to kill him. But he's Denzel Washington. You can't kill Denzel. Stupid.
No.
So then he's like, I gotta go find Dave York. And so Denzel goes to find Dave York. I don't know why I'm saying Dave York like Bobby Newport, but it's happening. So he goes to Dave York's like fucking whole ass house with like 2 kids and a wife. And he's like, knock, 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 my name is Mac. And his wife's like, honey, your friend was at the back door.
Oh my god! Can we hold on? I saw this over in the show notes. Like both of you noticed this. His wife is like intolerable, and I don't say this about female characters freely, but she just seems okay. She seems like Agatha when Agatha was acting like she was brainwashed.
It's such
she looked in the camera at some point.
Your friend
like,
was at the back door.
Honey.
No.
And then, like, but also, what is she doing? And then she comes out and goes, oh, we have to hurry up. And then, well, I mean, we'll get to it, but I skipping ahead and then we'll go back. I have a question about when she's getting the kids in the car and then, like, the little one runs into the street.
Yes.
And she goes, you can take that one. And Denzel just picks up this small child. I was like,
they've known each other for 5 seconds.
Yeah. And Pedro Pascal, who just basically started a most dangerous game situation with this man, was just like, that's fine. Pick up my child. Yeah. Like, I was so. Anyways, hold on. We gotta go back. So Mac is like, knock, knock, knock. It's me, Mac. And the lady just is like, oh, your old army buddy's here. Ma'am, you should be dead if that is how you open doors where you're just like, oh, this stranger said that I know your husband. That's when you call your husband and you go, yo, do you know him? Before you let him into your house.
Exactly. Whatever. I have no idea how these people live because.
In defense of her, though, if Denzel Washington knocked on my door, I'd probably be like, come on in, sir. What do you? Wait, I trust you.
Face. He has kind eyes. He has
that was
eyes
my
you can trust.
Of the first movie was like, I trust Denzel. Like, where do you want me to go? Like, let's go, Denzel. What do you want me to do?
If I'm in a situation and he shows up, I know I'm fine. I'm okay.
No, but like, I trust you. But yeah, so she just lets him in their house. At first, I had thought like, because it kind of alluded to like some guy coming for, well, because he almost died. I was like, oh no, someone's coming for Dave York's family. No, it was just Mac, and their doorbell doesn't work. Which I was like, what? Why is that a plot point? Is that just to make me think someone was at this point, you could have just given up the gambit. And also, if a man's coming to kill that whole family, you can just ring the doorbell. It'd be okay.
Yeah.
Really? There are 2 small children. How do you think this situation is going to go down?
I just learned like that. I feel like that was a scene that signified to me that like this wasn't much of a film as much as it is a movie. You know, like,
very much one of those.
It's like she walks in and she's basically like, "Hey, your old army bud is here. Those are our children, Dickie and Jade. This is the cupboard where I keep the ceramics. If you need forks, they're over there." What other information can I give you about
the plot? Our knife block? Here it is. Like,
here are some photos.
The combination is 5524. So you're like, what the fuck? But like,
she only served to like give information. That was the only reason that woman was alive. Like,
much to the credit of Pedro Pascal, I was like, I love that scene before his wife just like lets a stranger into their house, because he is like very good like dad. Like he's like when he's opening the Tupperware and he's like, yeah, eat your grapes. I'm like, because that's listen, I have so many small children in my family. I was like, no, eat the grapes. Shut up. So I was like, I respect that. That's how you deal with small children. You're just like, okay, have fun. But like, it was a very nice little domestic scene. It's just like the balance of this movie is just kind of everywhere. Where I'm like, if you wanted me to believe that he wasn't like sus, like if not to talk like it, this is Among Us. I wouldn't be sus of him if, like, in the elevator, he was like, okay, let me go get the... Like, I was like, something's up with you. Right out the gate. Whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna finish the synopsis and get into shit. So then he's, like, crying about money, and he's like, the army just left us, which is, like, a very real problem in our country. And so, like, then this movie turns him into the bad guy in some way. And I'm like, okay, again... We got to talk about how we view villains.
Right. We need to have them have like real problems that we disagree with. Like if it was me and I had like trauma and things like that, like I would automatically perceive it that way. Like, yeah, the government leaves people behind all the time.
Well, okay. The bad thing they did was just decide who gets to live and die because they know too much. That was the bad part. But like the reasoning why he did it, like not wrong. It's just wrong that you murdered people because they knew too much. Like, that's the bad thing, Dave. And your little posse of friends, like the 3 other white dudes were like, hello, we're here. They just
came out of nowhere.
Wait, hold on. That's okay. So anyway,
Huey, Dewey, and Louie here.
It's a heartfelt little convo between them. Denzel's basically like, great, like you're still in the wrong. You murdered people. And he's like,
it's not that he murdered people, it's that he murdered
my friend.
Yeah.
You murdered my friend.
Yeah.
So basically, you know what? I respect it though. Mac was like, I don't care what happens, but you murdered my friend, so now I have to murder you.
Yeah.
Okay, he's ruling by an eye for an eye. Okay, Hammurabi, go off. What are you doing? So then they go outside. Meanwhile, Dave York's entire family is still there. They go outside, and here rolls up this posse of dudes. How they knew to come check out.
No, they were watching the house at the beginning. He takes out the trash before he shows up, and they're all just watching him. Like, they know something's
that's even
gonna
weirder.
happen.
That's even weirder. That they're just like, we have a sense about this. But whatever. And it's weird. They all get out of the car, and they're like, hey, Mac. Like, everyone's just like, what up, dude? Sorry, we thought you were dead, but now we're assassins. And so then, like, in comes, I let a stranger in my home. Honey, we have to leave. And so then she corralled their little, like, litter of children into the car. And so then, again, the little one just runs into traffic, and no one stops her. And the scene is them being like, okay, you know, most dangerous game where you hunt each other? That's what we're doing. See you on the flip side. Bye. And then he goes on the run, and Dave York's wife and children take him to the airport. Because where are they? Did they say where they are?
I don't know how they got from point A to point B, but they were on like some kind of base, like some part of the airport that was like unused and abandoned or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh no, because they were going through backyards and stuff. I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about in their fight? No, they were going to
his beach house
used to live.
Right.
But there was a hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
In the eye of a hurricane,
and they just shot somebody. Trust.
Yeah, they were like, "There's a hurricane." But that's after they. So they go. I don't. Who is Mac with Bill Pullman? I forget who he's with.
He goes
in
and
that
saves
scene.
him.
Yeah, he saves Bill Pullman. I was like, he's with somebody in that scene.
Yeah.
He goes and saves Bill Pullman so they don't kill Bill Pullman. Then he's like, I'm not going to my house. That's stupid. Well, the kid that he's giving money to is painting in his house. And so he's like, get out of my house. And then, well, too late. There's Dave York and his posse. So then they're like, oh no. And so he like has this makeshift panic room. Like he's Kristen Stewart and Jodie Foster. And so he goes into this panic room where he can see through like a two-way glass. And he's hiding from all these guys. And this kid, in the dumbest move I've ever seen in a movie, like Denzel Washington is telling him like, just stay in the fucking room. He's like, I get very claustrophobic. I'm like, oh, cool, dude. Do you want to live? Just shut up and sit there. And so then he waits 0.5 seconds for the people to leave, and he's like, they left, and just logs out, and they capture him. I'm like, sir. So then Dave York is like, I got your friend. Later, actually. I don't think he knows that he has that kid until like, which, I'm sorry, Denzel, you didn't call the kid back to check on him? But, so the whole thing, he's like, okay, they had a conversation when they were by the water that was like, I'm going in the, I should go home to my lake house. My wife used to have a bakery. And so then there's a fucking hurricane, and this whole group decides that's where the most dangerous game is happening, during a hurricane. And so Denzel legitimately takes out like 5 dudes. Dave York is like sniper on the roof. And so he's like, I'm gonna get up there and kill him. Which he does. And listen, leave Pedro Pascal's eyes the fuck alone. I am tired. I don't like eye things, and I'm
as the kids would say, my bestie is in his death era in this movie. You know, this was Game of Thrones era. This was I'm gonna be thrown into a meat grinder for fun era. Like this is the era where he wanted to get killed a lot.
Yeah, but literally, Denzel just is about to lose, and then he just takes his thumb and shoves his thumb in his eye, and then obviously Dave York's like, nah! And ends up falling to his death. And then Denzel goes and like lives a nice life, and the mural's fine. And then the Equalizer. So let's just chat about this movie.
This, I think, is interesting about this movie. It's the only sequel Denzel Washington has ever done in his entire career. Yeah.
That checks out.
He really likes
when you're
the
Denzel,
first Equalizer.
It's good. And listen, when you're Denzel, you don't gotta do sequels.
Yeah. You don't have to do it. He chose, what was it? I had like the actual number down. Hold on. After over 55 film and television credits, this is his first sequel. So yeah, you know what? If you're Denzel Washington, you can be picky choosy. And this movie pulled 190.4 million at the box office total. So yeah, it did okay. It did okay for an action movie. I mean, really good.
I do like Ashley's note of takes too long to introduce Pedro. Why?
That's like 40 minutes.
Yeah, we're looking at like second act introductions. Takes like, way too long.
I don't understand. There's so much unnecessary. Oh yeah, I forgot about I ended up crying because then like the subplot of the man who survived the Holocaust, they found his sister. I don't understand part of that because it's like I thought he was going to get money for this portrait, but then they're like, surprise, it's your sister.
And we found your real sister, even better than the portrait. But then it's like, but is he ever going to get that portrait that they own of her?
He asked Susan to look for information about him. Mm-hmm. That's how they met.
So they don't know of it. Okay. So they don't know about the portrait at all. They're just like, here's your sister. Listen, it's fine. He's got his sister, Magda. I remember her name was so Magda. It was very cute. But yeah, I forgot about that. The other subplot gets resolved and it's very sad.
That's why it's criticized, is because it has too many subplots.
Mm-hmm. It does. There's like, if you would have started this movie with Susan dying.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that like the whole subplot with the siblings, I completely forgot about it until that scene at the end, and I was like, oh my god, it's what's his name, the old man. And then Magda came in, and then of course I started crying buckets of tears because I cry at the drop of a hat. But yeah, it was, it was weird. Like, this movie tried to do too much, and I feel like every single time I can't, because was Susan in the first Equalizer?
So Susan and him were friends, but it didn't seem like Bill Pullman liked him that much. And then they were fine.
Yeah, they're fine now. Well, like that's the thing is that like every character that wasn't Denzel that had like a speaking role was there to like provide exposition. Like something hits me about like, when we meet Susan again, she's like, I'm your only friend left, or like I'm the only one who knows you're alive. And then Pedro Pascal like outright says stuff like, yeah, we were army buddies 10 years ago. And yeah. So it's, but it's also an action movie. So what am I doing asking for more than really amazing action from it, which it completely delivers on?
Yeah. Ashley, is there anything about this movie that you would like to talk about?
I don't know. I think the conversation about like why Dave does what he does, I think that was a topic of discussion in like my Discord group about how he was in the right and how the army does. I think that's a good conversation, is the army in that situation. I had like a screenshot of something that someone talked about. It's a lot, but we have a lot of feelings about this movie and Dave's character as a whole. I don't know.
It's like, but like, and it's the same thing we were talking about earlier. It's like, yeah, he's partially not wrong. It's just, it's the problem that we have where we have, this is supposed to be the bad guy. You're supposed to not root for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do is he's going to make good points, but he's going to murder somebody. And so then
you can't like him.
And it's like, but no, he's right otherwise. Like, other than the fact that he said, oh, she had to die, she knew too much. Like, they're not wrong. Like, he's like, they left us without anything. They left us with just these skills. So we, like, use them to our advantage. Which is like, yeah, granted, you shouldn't murder people. But, like, he's like, we were left high and dry. Which is a very real thing. Like, okay, perfect example is, like, Denzel Washington's working at a Lowe's. And then he's working as an Uber driver.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's not wrong. But, like,
taken care of.
Yeah, it's like, he's not wrong. But, like, yeah, these movies are like, but this is the bad guy. So,
so you have to dislike them.
No. He murders. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. You couldn't have a nuanced conversation where they, like, come to an agreement up in the tower minus the murder. No. But one day.
Someday, maybe.
But yeah. Ay.
Well, overall,
yeah, actually.
When I think in Pedro, when he did the like iconic roles interview on GQ, they talked about the Equalizer, and he mentioned to the people who were filming about getting his eyes gouged out, and he's like, this is referencing, right? And they're just like, no, what? And he goes, never mind.
Good.
Oh,
he said, do you know? No? All right. We're just gonna do it then. It's just, why touch the eye? Like, why? I don't want to touch eyes. I'm tired of the eyes.
The more you bring this up, the higher the chances are that it's going to happen again.
Great.
No.
More gouging eyes. Can't.
I'm just tired of him dying and stuff. I think out of everything he's done, it's like a good 20-30% of what he's done, which is crazy to me.
We should start keeping a counter on our episodes of which episodes Pedro died on.
Did
or movies. Yeah.
Maybe don't use my gun noise I just accidentally did.
Did. I need that as a sound bite. Someone help.
Yeah, well, we've been asking them to help with our fucking song.
Look, I'm waiting for the day that a lone sound editor will be like listening to our show, and then they'll go, oh, "This is it. This is my calling. I'm going to help them."
Oh, look at him.
This movie is that he's like cute assassin.
I know.
He's like, hello, I am cute assassin. Here I am. Just doing my job. There's my butt.
That's such a good one.
America.
Murder Dad.
Oh, no, that's Katrina's.
Murder Dad.
Yeah. So that's Equalizer 2.
Yeah. Oh no, I put this one in here specifically for when we were talking about what kind of how good he is at playing a villain, and I was like, this is definitely like, look at this villainous face.
Mm-hmm.
That's also
Like,
he's
I
oh,
can
looking
feel
at his
it.
wife and children.
Yeah, that's how he looks at his family.
He's looking at his wife and children.
We love it. All right.
But yes, that's the Equalizer. So now we're going to my favorite part of the week, which now I gotta sing. Hold please. Which is stash, 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 stash.
Oh my god.
The stash, stash, the stash. The stash on everybody's lips are gonna be Pedro.
Pedro's.
Anyways,
Yay.
anyways, so because there was no mustache,
No.
I have
No stash
I
in this
said we should have two choices, which is just a good old stash and then one from the movie, and you could pick or choose. I picked two, so I picked one from the movie and then a look from the movie where he looked good, and then like a stash. But Ashley, which one of your pictures was your choice?
It was one where he's on the phone.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, so handsome.
So Ashley's pick for the listeners is which just said Murder Daddy and moved on.
Yes.
Is where he's wearing his little suit. And oh my god, for one of the first times in my life, Pedro Pascal has a shirt completely buttoned up with no open buttons. That and the BAFTAs are the only two times I've ever seen it. With a little American flag pin, and he's like, "Hello, I have an iPhone." And that's her choice. Katrina?
My choice was his running outfit, where he decided to run in like layers and like jeans, and he was just out for a run in this particular look. And I just thought it was, they're in Boston, right? So maybe it's a little.
Well, we don't know where he is. Denzel.
Oh, we don't know where he is.
We don't know where he is.
No, well then wherever he is, it just looks a little too hot to be running. Like somebody over in the back there is in like shorts and a t-shirt. but this guy's got like a shirt and an overshirt, and he's like running in jeans and stuff. Like okay, they're sweatpants, sorry. But they're still heavy. So I don't know. There's a lot going on here, and I picked it because I respect his commitment to the craft.
Yeah, I mean,
beautiful.
He said committed. All right, so for my scene for this. I brought this up just because that whole scene he just looks very cute.
It's adorable.
But so my choice, true to my fashion and me, is when he's being a dad in his kitchen with his kids, and he's telling the kid like, "Hey, eat your grape. There you go. Stop complaining about it." And then this one, he's like, "Oh, you got homework? Hi, I'm gonna give you a kiss on the forehead. I'll help you with your homework."
No hamster.
Oh, the hamster. I was like homework. But yeah, because that's true to me and my thing, which is like I love a good dad. And then because I have finished Community finally, I watched The Table Read, and so I just put this on.
Yes.
Oh, because
I have also come to the decision that I don't mind him saying panties as much in that as much as I minded Walton Goggins saying it when I watched that show, because I was like, no, the entire time. His I just went, so it wasn't as bad as when Goggins said it.
No.
But yeah,
Goggins.
Yeah. So those are the. So how are we rating Equalizer 2? You know,
sorry, I'm making up a lifelong rivalry with Walton Goggins in my head now. Goggins.
But yeah. So what are we rating the Equalizer? Mine's 10. Mine's always 10, unless I have like 8 visceral. No, it's just I like how movies should get 10 unless you do something wrong. No. Like New Mutants, when I watched it, got 0 because of the racism. But this gets 10 out of 10 shirts. Those are supposed to be Fleetwood Mac shirts, and we have just never done
just like, no.
Do you want me to Photoshop you one?
Yes, please Photoshop
us
Fleetwood Mac shirts to rate with.
I will.
Yeah, mine will actually be 8, just because like this movie I zoned out like many times. But for the times that I was watching, I had a great, wonderful time. So You know, just fun all around for the whole family.
The whole
8 out of
family.
10.
Yeah, I'm gonna make my kids eventually watch The Equalizer too. I don't
Can't
have
wait.
kids, but when I have them, I'm gonna watch
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's the only plan I have for my children in the future is I am going to sit them down and watch The Equalizer.
My baby niece watches Narcos with me. She'll have to watch this at some point.
God.
She doesn't understand. She's 7 months old. She has no idea. She's gonna watch it and be like, "Oh wow, this is an interesting look at history." She doesn't know. It's fine. Let's make her watch this.
You say that now, but when the F word is her first curse word,
she's already doomed in that front with my
family. Good for her. Good for her. I'm glad.
Ashley, what did you
So when I was watching his filmography, I rated everything on IMDb, so I had to go back and look at it, and it was an 8.
I thought that because you wrote according to IMDb, and so I thought you just took IMDb.
No, those are my ratings.
You were like, IMDb said this, and I trust them.
No, because I think everyone gave it a low score.
I mean, it's an action. People want too much out of movies. It's an action movie.
It's fine. It's an action movie.
IMDb gives it 6.7.
Incorrect.
Wow. Harsh.
Incorrect.
Super harsh.
An action movie where they have a fight scene in a hurricane. What else do you want? And flour. They're in a bakery during a hurricane. What else do you want?
Exactly.
Yay. Anyways.
Cheer up.
Yes.
Cheer up.
All of Shakespeare left my head. And Pedro Pascal is the sun, and I was trying to think of that quote, and it went out my head. Oh, you know what? Happy this week is the anniversary of when I saw him in King Lear.
Oh,
because my nerdy ass went on Shakespeare's birthday.
That's so cute, though.
I said, I'm gonna go see Shakespeare on Shakespeare's birthday. And I think I said that in the theater, and the one lady was like, "Okay,
are you okay?"
I'm sorry, it's Shakespeare, ma'am.
Look, you just need to live in the moment, okay? Don't let anybody ruin your shine. If you want to proclaim what you're doing while you do it, then by God, Rachel, proclaim.
We will laugh at gilded butterflies, ma'am.
All right.
Anyways, Ashley, thank you so much for joining us and telling us to watch The Equalizer 2.
Yep.
Where can the people find you?
Tumblr? I don't know.
You said just Tumblr.
You can find Ashley on anywhere.
Yeah,
on Pedro Pascal. Katrina, where can lovely people find you?
We'll pull Ashley out every once in a while. It'll be great. Yes. Secret weapon. Okay. So oh man, Rachel, I was just about to give you free character points or something, and then I forgot what it was.
Me?
So sorry. Yeah, it was something creative you did this episode, and now I forgot what it is, so I have to watch the replay and give it to you next week. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm very rarely creative, which is sad as a writer. I'm a writer, and I'm I'm not creative. Anyways, I went to school.
You guys can find me. You can find me across the internet, all over the place. If you look for Katrina, that's OHCATRINA. Look for Mask Maker out on today, the 20th of April. And go have a fun VR adventure with masks. Yeah.
And you can find me on the Twitters at Rachel Leishman. I'm pretty sure everywhere else it's it's Rachel _ Leishman because the internet it's me. And there's one person out there who just took it without the anyways. And you can follow my work on the Mary Sue. Today I yelled about Shang-Chi all day long because I cried a bunch, and he did a cool little jump split, and it ruled. But yeah,
Yeah,
and if you're looking almost hyped up our own podcast on our podcast. I was like, and I'm
recording Pedro Pascal right now as we speak. In fact, I am going to promote our podcast on our podcast. You can actually check out our rebranded social networks if you look for Pedro Pascal anywhere. By the time this episode is up, you should at least have episode 5 up to audio, and soon we will catch up with that as well. You can listen to us on Spotify, on the Omni Studio Network, on Anchor FM, and almost anywhere that you get podcasts worth listening to.
Minus
iTunes.
Minus
I tried to subscribe today again. And it
they just started like some kind of, they locked like the application system or something. So I'm sorry we're not on iTunes, guys. They locked us out. Like they literally locked us out.
Listen on Spotify. Spotify rules. Sorry, I say this on a Mac with an iPhone, but Spotify rules. But yeah. So catch up. Let us know what next week we know what we're doing and who we're doing it with, because we asked you guys what we should do, and we had one single request, and it was for blood sucking bastards.
Mm-hmm.
Blood sucking bastards, which we are doing on our next
for
episode.
You guys.
For you
Put
guys.
Yourselves through this.
With one of my best friends in this whole world, Princess Weeks. Can't wait for whatever energy that's gonna be. But yeah. So like, rate, subscribe. You know what all those YouTubers say. I don't know what they do. I don't like listening to them. Like, rate, subscribe, review.
Hit that like button.
Point down, even though there's nothing down there. And just let us know what you want to see on our podcast. We have really exciting guests coming up. And we obviously have exciting guests already on.
Guys. Yeah, right now.
Yeah, right now. So listen and yeah. You know what we didn't do on this episode for Ashley, so we just need to let it play for old time's sake.
Oh.
When we go on a tangent.
There were a lot of tangents this episode, and we just didn't do them. So
we should just do an honorary.
Honorary tangent. I was just so into the conversation, everybody. All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. We will be back very soon to talk more about Pedro Pascal's filmography. Until then, buzz off, everybody. Bye.